Imagine this river valley filled up with rock and then shoved downward a quarter of a mile or so, until the hilltops are nearly at sea level. That's the way it was here millions of years ago. To the east were the craggy, snow-topped peaks of the young Appalachian Mountains. A mighty river came roaring westward down this shallow valley, carrying water, chunks of rock, uprooted trees, and sharp sediment that tore away at the land. Not far to the west was a large inland sea that covered most of modern-day Ohio. As the river made its way toward that sea, it entered a vast swampy floodplain, slowed and then meandered in ever-changing loops, just like the Mississippi River does today as it nears the Gulf of Mexico. Millions of years passed. Gradually the land rose higher and higher, and the Ohio Sea retreated westward, getting smaller and smaller. Eventually the sea disappeared altogether. The river busily dug deeper and deeper into its valley, and the last swooping turns on the old floodplain were permanently etched into the landscape. Geologists call these incised meanders, and you can still see them today near where the river flows into a larger one coming from the north. The still nameless river drained thousands of square miles of forest and mountain terrain, and then, 18,000 years ago, huge glaciers crept down from the north and dammed its upper reaches. The restless water from rain and melting ice soon found a new course to the sea, away from the old river, and now it drained but a fraction of the mountain land that had once contributed to its might. When the glaciers began to melt away, the earliest people arrived in the area. These were the Paleo-Indians, and, finally, the ancient river was given a name, but that name is now long forgotten. In 1749, Father Boncamps was with a large French expedition that passed by the mouth of the river. An Indian guide told him that this was the River of Hate, supposedly because it marked the boundary between two warring tribes. Father Boncamp duly recorded this information, in French, on the map he was preparing to show the route of the expedition. This is the only place where that name occurs. Later maps, like Howell's 1792 map of the Ohio Territory, refer to the river as Tobacco Creek or Toby's Creek. In the early 1800s, after logging operations had removed all of the trees from its banks, some took to calling the river Stump Creek, an ugly name for an ugly place. Luckily, the name didn't stick for long. In 1817, Daniel Stannard and David Lawson were surveying a road through the region. One night, as they camped on the banks of the river, they lay in their tent and were impressed by the clear sounds of far-off ripples. Stannard remarked that they sounded like a distant clarion, to which Lawson replied, "Why not call it the Clarion River?" A clarion is an early medieval trumpet noted for its clear, high-pitched sound, and I don't see how a river can sound like a clarion. But these two drew their map and called the river the Clarion. And by the mid-1800s, that's what everyone called it. That the name is a good one is evidenced by the fact that today I live in the town of Clarion, located in Clarion Township within Clarion County. Toby Creek is now just a small tributary of the Clarion River. The missing trees are long since regrown, and the river wanders snake-like through its ancient and wondrous valley. Clarion is an excellent name for the place. Tobacco would have been fine too, though this would have been shortened to Toby, and that sounds more like a dog than a pleasant highland river. Or suppose that River of Hate had stuck as the name. Today we would have River of Hate University, or Hate U for short. Still, even that's better than Stump Creek. I'm very happy that I don't come from Stump Creek, Pennsylvania.